Cashew conference. I am Naveen from cashewinformation.com. You have Vaibav Jain sir from Revata Carbon. Can you brief about your company and your working, sir?
Revata Carbon is a Singapore headquartered company. We focus on supporting businesses to commercialize their agri waste. It's a big problem statement for many agricultural waste producers and how do they manage their byproducts. And that's where my company comes in to support that aspect end to end. And we take care of the waste, not just taking care of it, we take care of it by converting it into more higher value products and building a green circular economy as well.
So nowadays the farmers won't be knowing that the only main product gives the money for them and the other product they'll think that is waste. But it can also yield for them. So on that aspect, can you briefly explain about that thing?
Exactly. So my focus would be not on the farmers specifically currently because aggregation is a bit of a problem. So my focus will be more on the processing level. And the processor itself is still a big problem for them. Taking example of the Cashew conference where we are right now, the cashew sector, the cashew processing facilities, almost 55% of the actual nut after removing the oil is a byproduct and waste. And specifically in Africa, a large portion of it is discarded. So that could be a very additional revenue stream. So firstly, it's a big problem statement. How do they dispose of it? And majority places, they have to decompose it. And essentially, it actually emits a lot of carbon emissions. So where I come in is that, of course, we support the environment by bringing it to the right use of it, storing the carbon back or utilizing it for the right energy, green energy. But more importantly, we actually add a revenue stream to the particular cashew processors. And hopefully that can also bring back to the end farmers itself.
So if they get some extra margin from that product, they will be happy with the what they are doing.
Principally, I think it will help the overall economy, of course, right? And hopefully it also brings back to the farmer level as well.
So we'll get the cashew shell after they process the kernel, they will take it out. So presently, some of them are doing the CNSL with that.
Correct.
So after the CNSL also they will using for the boiler.
Correct.
Is there any innovative you have found out or what you are doing with that shells in cashews?
So usually, like I said, in some more established markets, like in India and maybe Southeast Asia, there's a very good biomass supply chain. So the shell waste that comes out after extracting CNSL is very high calorific value. So many industries, there's a good supply chain. You can use it in the boiler industry and get value out of it. However, in Africa, that supply chain is missing. So the supply demand is not there. There's significant supply of biomass and less demand for these biomass products. And of course, there's logistics issues there. So that's exactly the supply chain issue I'm looking to solve. Of course, in addition to that, there's a technology aspect to convert into higher value products. But even if you bring in technology, the question comes in how do you market the end product after that? So, and most processors don't want to end up with a problem that, okay, hey, they had an initial problem of the waste. Now, after putting capex capital, they have another problem with another product. So where I come in is that we do an end-to-end solution providing, where we take care of the whole vertical business after their production of CNSL, or even the nutshell with oil. We are also into CNSL production as well. So we'll also do that, okay, if they don't want to invest in expellers, we take their nutshell with oil, and we essentially produce CNSL, trade the CNSL and the shell waste as well. We look to create more value from it, but focusing on sustainability as well on it.
So in recent trends, we are seeing about the sustainability and carbon footprints. These are the things which are coming up. Can you add some comments on the carbon footprints and sustainability on this, managing the waste?
Absolutely. So I think this whole initiative will help reduce the carbon footprint. Principally, currently what's happening is a lot of cashew processing facilities, of course, use electricity, right? Number two, they use a lot of wood potentially for boilers to create steam, right? So what my project could potentially do is that we could actually create enough green energy as well to power a portion of the energy needs of the facility, reducing the footprint already, right? In addition, in Africa specifically, the biomass is thrown away. Where it decomposes, the carbon that's in it, it goes up in the air, which is not being utilized. So instead, you can use it in boilers as a very basic, instead of being decomposed, again replacing coal products or wood products. But of course, like I mentioned, one aspect is biomass trading, but I'm also looking to create higher value products will again replace potentially fossil fuel, support the fertilizer market as well. And again, there's a carbon removal storage aspect as well. So my services also include carbon credit trading. I was a carbon trader before this. So I'll be also providing that services as well.
Africa is recently growing in processing.
Yeah.
So they will be having the huge biomass.
Exactly.
So any of your plans to expand rapidly so that all the biomass is tackled, the waste management is in a good situation?
Yeah, so the beauty is that, once you have a business model proven, the scalability is there, right? So you're absolutely right, because it kind of makes sense. A significant amount of plantation of RCN happens in Africa, so the processing should also happen there. So a lot of processes are moving back from India and Vietnam to Africa, thus increasing the biomass production. So the scalability is strong. So once you prove the business model, you solve the logistics issues, hopefully the technology is very scalable. And as the processes goes more back to where the Africa, where the land of cashews, hopefully, my services and company, we can solve that logistic issues and grow that waste stream arm as well.
I want to look at one more thing is
Sure.
cashew apple.
Very good question. Actually, so that's one of my R&D work. So I have a team of 10 people now. One of my person has a PhD in chemical engineering, and one of the tasks I've given to him is focus on cashew apple, because from cashew apple, it's almost 40 million tons every year that's being produced. What I've done the math, and that's almost 89% of the overall cashew, which is perishable and thrown away. In Goa, especially, it's made fenny, so it has some chemical properties. So it's still not known, but I'm doing some R&D work to see what we can do with it to actually even solve that waste management problem. So initially, my company is focusing on the cashew sector, but after that, I'll be going to other agri sector like cocoa, rice husk, and coconut as well. So there are a variety of different biomasses. In West Africa alone, there's close to 300 million tons of agri waste that's produced annually. Globally, it's about 8 billion tons. Out of only 40% is reused. So 60%, 5 billion tons of agri biomass is thrown away. So it's a big industry, a lot of scalability. We need more players. Hopefully, more people join me and other cashew companies. I can work with them to try to at least solve the cashew sector and then go to other sectors later.
So by this interview, so many will be having this idea and they will get to know about this market. So thank you for the interview.
Yeah, please. I mean, I'd be happy to talk to them, Revata Carbon, and you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. However, I'm happy to support.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.